Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Hollow Bone with Phoenix. If you're new to this show, the hollow bone means being a channel for source, where messages, healing, and even miracles can come through. Each week on the show, you could expect to hear live channelings that open your heart and lift your energy, or conversations with visionary leaders walking their own path of alignment, or even healing transmissions that flow directly through the hollow bone. So, whether you listen live or tune into the archives, every episode is a chance to receive guidance, expand your awareness, and step more fully into the miracles waiting for you. Today, we are so blessed to be interviewing this visionary leader by the name of Dr. Joanne White. She's an international, multiple #1 best-selling, award-winning author, speaker, coach, and trainer. She's recognized as a Goodwill Global Ambassador for civil and humanitarian work in education, entrepreneurship, coaching, and women's issues. Dr. White received the 2025 Fluxx Award, Global Influencer Woman of the Year in Media and Entertainment. Joanne's also featured in the Enterprise Wired magazine 2025 Influential Woman Leader Unlocking Potential Through Life and Business Coaching, and World Leaders magazine 2025 World's Most Admired Women to Follow. Oh my gosh, thank you so much
Oh,
for being here, Dr. White. This is so exciting.
thank you so much for having me, Phoenix. It's a pleasure, and I'm really excited and happy to be here.
Oh my gosh, we have so much to talk about, so let's get right into it. I think, first of all, one of the things that I want to talk about is the best selling Mission Hope series. And the most recent version, #6, Every Heart Holds a Miracle. You have a really inspiring, miraculous story in here. In fact, you have many stories packed into one chapter. And that chapter is called Awaken to Miracles. So, would you like to share some of that chapter and what drove you to write it the way you did, and just give us some background on that?
Okay, so firstly, I believe, and I've written about that in the chapter too, that and that's why I called it Awaken to Miracles, Phoenix, that we sometimes think that miracles are something so far out of our reach and that we may not be able to access it. And I think we forget all of the miracles, firstly, that are within us, all of the miracles that are around us, and when we remember that and awaken to that, it's a bit of a celebration of life. I mean, life is a miracle, right? I mean,
It,
life is a miracle. How does that happen?
exactly, exactly.
And so I think that's very important. And something else, I've done some research, and this is something that I wanted to talk about more. Quantum physics, okay, and I've written about that in the chapter too. We used to think that matter was very fixed and solitary and whatever, and couldn't be changed. Well, through science, and you would think science and quantum physics, they discovered that that's not true. Our thoughts, our intentions, what we putting out in the world can shift matter, can shift things. So think about that for a minute. How powerful is that? Which means that what we're intending, what we want to put out in the world, rather than negativity or fear or whatever it is that sometimes interferes, can really build upon miracles and expand that in so many beautiful ways. So that to me was like really an awakening that we need to pay attention to because we can create miracles through that mindset.
Absolutely. I'm so glad you brought that up. That is the most empowering thing we can do.
It definitely is. And when I work with clients, it's about really looking at that and shifting that and saying, wait a minute, what are you focusing on? I'm focusing on worry, I'm focusing on fear, I'm focusing on regret, I'm focusing on sadness. Now, I'm not dismissing those feelings and thoughts. They are real. I've been there. We've all been there. But how long are you going to stay focused on that rather than, okay, so I'm in pain. but maybe I can look at what's going to happen and what can happen when I'm not in pain.
I
And
love.
I talk in the chapter, and this is when I had sorry, got to breathe on that one.
I bet.
When I fell down a flight of stairs and I had a concussion and a head injury, and I remember first when I remember going falling down the stairs and kind of not being able to move and whatever, thinking, am I alive? Am I dead? And I stayed with that feeling for some time before I could figure out, hey, I'm still here.
Wow. Wow, what a shock.
It was scary, and it took a long time to get past not being able to speak. I was shy and self-conscious about being on a show. I'll tell you something funny. Well, it wasn't funny at the time. A friend and I were I was going to be on her show, and we were pre-recording it. And this was during, I was taking a risk there because I wasn't really able to speak or put things together. And we started the show, and I couldn't finish a sentence. I couldn't, and it would, and so we said, another time. So, so I'm blessed. This is
Yeah,
a miracle, right? To be
this,
here.
you
And
are a miracle.
well, so are you. But the point is, I remember sitting through that time and thinking, how am I going to get past it? What am I going to do? And being able to first feeling sorry for myself, of course, right? And we can do that. But are you going to spend months, years, century, whatever? And that's a choice we make. And there's a song, now this dates me a little bit. Sitting here in limbo. You familiar with that song?
I don't think I am.
Yeah, well, I don't sing very well. Sitting here in limbo, waiting for the dice to roll, sitting here in limbo, something about freeing my soul. And I know that my faith will lead me on.
Oh,
So that helped me through it. That, was sitting there crying and whatever, but also being able to see that there's something beyond this.
yes.
And there's a phrase that goes, I know I know what happened, and I'm not doing it correctly. I know what I've been through, but I don't know where I'm going. But my faith will lead me on. And for some reason, Phoenix, that was just so awakening. It was like, okay, so yeah, so here I am, and there I was.
Yeah.
But there's a whole new something beyond that that we can reach out to, that we can access, that we can imagine, that we can think about, that we can create.
Yes. And it when you mention your faith, it always reminds me of just, a higher power, something that knows more than we do and is greater, has greater love than we can even imagine. And that's what's really helping us through these hard times, too.
Right. But it's also having faith and belief in yourself and
Absolutely.
the ability to change something and make something better. So yes, a higher power and but I think we also have to embrace that we have the ability to make things happen.
Yes.
And have faith in yourself. Oftentimes I work with people who are self-conscious, and I've been there, who don't have faith in themselves, who don't believe in themselves. Oftentimes it's come from childhood or other people or whatever, but we can change that.
Yes.
Now, I didn't share that in this book, but I grew up doing what's called mirror writing.
Oh, right.
So, and it wasn't intentional. So basically what it means is that when teachers tried to read it, they couldn't read it.
Oh,
It was backwards.
right.
So
Right.
they had to hold it up to a mirror. So I got a lot of flack for that. There's something wrong with you. You're not going to be able to make it. And I took that belief that other people had about me and incorporated that within me. And I had to do a lot to shift it. and
I,
change that mindset to believe that things are possible, that I can do. And that too is a miracle.
well, I was going to say, you make it sound easy. You were able to shift it, but I mean, I
Oh,
know the work involved here. It can be easy, but it's still work, right?
it wasn't easy. My mind would say, Joanne, what's wrong with you? You can't do anything right. You can't wash a dish. You can't walk down. I mean, it would just belittle me about everything. And unfortunately, I believed it.
Yeah.
Now, that's what happens with a lot of people. We believe that we're not good enough. We believe that we can't create miracles. We believe that we're fixed and we're at whatever situation and we can't move beyond it. But as you and I know, Phoenix, that's not always true.
That's right. That's right. Do you have some suggestions for people to start changing or reframing their belief systems?
One of the things is, and I had to do this, that most of those negative thoughts come on really fast and really powerful, okay? And it's almost like we feel like we're being hit by them. Well, you have to be able to have the courage to look at them and counter them.
Yes, good point.
Now, I'll tell you something that I call cartooning your fears away, and I've done workshops on it. When I was younger, it has nothing to do with the chapter, but it's all related, don't you
Yeah.
think?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, good. When I was younger, my mother used to kind of instill in me to be afraid of driving. Okay, it's the highway's dangerous, forget the throughway, whatever. So when I first got my license to drive, I was incredibly nervous. I was sitting in the car and my foot's going like this on the
Oh, gosh, I can imagine.
okay. And all I kept envisioning, Phoenix, was my car crashing.
Oh, gosh.
So, and I was immobilized. It was like, okay, how do I move?
Right.
And I was like, what, 17, 18. What I did was I envisioned like a little cartoon, my car floating in space with eyes and whatever, and another car floating. And rather than crashing, they were kind of floating together and whatever. And I was able to then drive.
Wow, I love that. I love that
So,
because it's
and go
simple.
ahead.
No, it's
Well,
just it's
yeah,
simple.
well, I think that it was funny,
Yeah.
and so we go from that serious mindset into something that's lighter and a little bit playful and creative,
Yeah.
and it eases the tension and the fear around it.
Yeah.
And in the workshops, I mean, people didn't do have that about cars or whatever, but other things that we're so serious about it. But if you lighten up a little bit and put a little bit of humor in it, and again, not everything can be handled that way, but it that worked in that situation. And I'm driving now
Yeah, there you are on the throughway and everything.
out of state, right?
Yes, yes. Oh my gosh. I really love that. I love the simplicity. I love the empowerment of it. I love the reframe from taking ourselves so seriously and then it's kind of like letting go a little bit, you know?
I also this will sound a little silly too, but after having all that negative self-talk, now my mind gives me lighter, Joanne, what a great job. And I have jokes with myself. So it's now somebody say, Joanne, you're a little crazy. Okay, I'll admit that. But it's fun.
Exactly. There's nothing wrong with being a little crazy. Oh my God. You also had some examples of like clients and other experiences of miracles in your life, either as a witness or things that actually happened around you, let me put it that way. And so, would you like to talk about any of those?
Well, there's one that comes to mind because I think it's special, and it just involved more than just me, okay? And I've written about it in the chapter.
Yeah.
One night, and I'm very much connected with my intuition, my inner guidance. I've been working with that. I teach people how to do that, and I've been trusting that more than a whole lot of other things externally. So one night, my inner guidance says, go to the store, and I'm thinking, why? I don't need anything. I have everything I need. But again, I trusted it. I drove to the store, um, looked around, got something, got back in the car, and I thought, okay, I don't know what, I'm not hungry. I already ate. What, but okay. So I'm driving home, Phoenix. It's a four-lane road. And as I'm about to go forward, there's a dog lying in the middle of the road. Now, if I would have gone forward, I would have hit that dog, and I was not going to do that. So again, like a crazy woman, I started to honk my car, like who's gonna like go hit that person right?
Right.
And I stopped the car in the middle of the road.
Wow, you have courage.
Oh yeah. And I got out and I do energy work. So I went over to the dog. The dog's eyes were open and I started to do energy work. Another woman came and she said, I saw the dog. I was afraid to put my car in the middle of the road and I parked it away and I didn't know
What to
if
do.
that dog would even survive. Because again, cars were just going fast. So she came, we talked, somebody else came, they brought a blanket. The policeman came and said to me, did you hit the dog? I said, no. He started to move the traffic around because again it's a four-lane highway and there we were.
Yeah.
Another woman came and meantime all this time I'm doing the energy work and she called her vet even though it was late. He was willing to do this as an emergency. We put the dog in the back seat. Some girl must have been like 16 or 15 or whatever came up and she was very upset. She said, I was watching the dog and the dog got away from me. We said, well, do you want to come with us? Like, okay. So the dog was saved. So that's why now to me that's a miracle because I was called out. I followed my intuition, but it wasn't just me. It was all these other I call them, earth angels that came to this dog's rescue,
Yeah.
including a policeman who was,
Yes. Yes.
helping to get the traffic out of the way so that we could do what we needed to do. It was like such a beautiful blessing. And to me, it was a miracle.
Absolutely. And that shared community, all working around that dog. That dog must have been a really special dog, right?
That's what I thought. I mean, what's the role that this dog has?
Yeah,
Right?
exactly. It's not done yet. Oh, how beautiful. Oh, this is like the third dog story that I have encountered in like the last month where people just stopped to help, and that just touches my heart. I just love animals. And so it just touches my heart with it. People take the time to do that. And in exchange, you got to witness that miracle. How
And
beautiful is
and
that?
when we help animals, when we help people, it helps them, but it also makes us feel good. And
Absolutely.
I think that, that's part of what we're here to do. We're here to expand that. And to me, that's a miracle when you are able to move outside of your comfort zone a little bit, outside of yourself, and see that you can be there for other people. I have one other animal story. It's
Oh,
kind of
cool.
a bird story.
Oh, beautiful.
Want to hear that? That's not in the chapter.
Oh,
Okay,
good.
so
Fine.
so one day I was guided I usually do what I call a power walk in the morning, but I was guided to go in a different direction. And again, I followed my instincts.
Yeah.
In the middle of the road was a bird, and I didn't know if it was dead, but I thought how horrible that cars would be going over and oh, that's what a horrible way to die, whether you're a bird or a human or a dog or whatever.
Yeah.
So I went over and I picked up the bird and I didn't, it was really not moving, but I picked up the bird and I'm doing energy work as I'm walking and I'm talking to the bird, Phoenix, and I'm
Mhm.
saying, I don't know what's going to happen to you. I don't know if you're going to be able to make it, but whatever, I'll bury you or whatever, put you in my backyard. So I keep walking and doing energy work and talking. I get to my street and I feel a flutter in my hands because I'm holding the bird in the palm of my hand. I open my hands, Phoenix, and the bird flies away.
Oh my goodness, isn't that
Yeah.
beautiful?
So a friend of mine up the street said, Joanne, did you just save that bird? I said, I don't know what happened. It just
Wasn't up to me.
it wasn't, right? But to me, that was another miracle. Again, maybe, who knows if that bird would have survived, but if you're lifeless, kind of lying in the road, you're open to whatever hits you, whatever
Yes.
that is, right?
Yes. Oh my goodness. Yeah, that's really beautiful. That's just so heartwarming. And I love how both times you used your energy work on them because I believe in energy work. I'm an energy worker too, and it just, there's something that flows through that is not of you, but it's coming through
Right,
you,
right.
and that's, I mean, it just feels like such an honor to be able to do that, I think.
And that's important what you say. Again, we all have the ability to do healing, but this is when you're doing healing work, it's like you said, that energy flows through us
Yes.
and extends out to others, which
Yeah.
is beautiful. Yeah. Now,
Yes.
I don't know about you, but when somebody or something or some needs energy work, my hands get really hot.
Yes, mine
Right?
too.
Otherwise, they're cold all the
Yeah.
time.
Especially in winter time, right?
Yes, definitely.
Oh my goodness. Wow. So I think we'll just let people discover your beautiful chapter and find a few more miracles that you sprinkled in there. And I want to talk more about some of the other things that you do. Your resume, your biography, whatever you want to call that, is like amazing. And one of the things that really drew my attention was you are very involved in anti-bullying campaigns. And I would love to hear more about that.
Okay. Now, again, some of that st stemmed from my own experience of not feeling good enough or being, ridiculed or whatever. And I think it led me in a direction. So many years ago, I studied working with children and youth with special needs and autism, and I think it came from that
Yeah.
my own lack of self-worth or whatever. And I remember seeing there was one family I worked with, and this boy was ridiculed, I mean, horrifically. And what somebody actually did was they took a picture of him, they tied him up against a tree or whatever, and they thought it was so humorous and so funny.
Oh,
And horrible. I mean, people
horrible.
have to live with that kind of stuff. And oftentimes, when people are bullied, and whether even online or whatever, a lot of people have committed suicide because of the shame or not being able to figure out how can I get past this. It just is horrible. So I've done a lot of work with that, and I think it's important. I really do. I think that we talked about helping people. We need to be aware, not just physically, but what are we doing mentally and emotionally to other people? And
Mhm.
sometimes, especially youth, think it's very amusing to make fun of someone that's different, that's not like them. But do you realize what they're going through, if, again, what they're experiencing and feeling, and if for a moment we could shift. and feel what it's like to be in their shoes and being verbally attacked, which you think it's fun, but they seeing it as an attack,
Absolutely.
that would be an eye opener, I think, really.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And so in your campaigns, are you working with different organizations or how
I've
exactly
been
are you helping?
I've been doing that, like working with different organizations. I also worked at Bancroft, which was a educational, clinical, residential, and community program for children and youth with special needs. And I remember doing a lot with parents and community involvement and engagement and all that kind of stuff too. But again, it came from, I believe, my understanding of what it's like to be different and the responses from other people about our differences. And even today, many kids with who are neurodivergent or our adults or they are being made to feel less than or inadequate or incomplete.
Mhm.
But it's not so. I've done a lot of research, and some of the most innovative minds are people whose minds have worked differently than whatever the so-called normal brain is, to be able to do all these incredible inventions and things that we didn't think possible.
Exactly, exactly. The thinking out of the box, I think, is threatening to so many people. And I think that's one of the reasons why people bully when they feel threatened by something that is different, they don't understand, and it's unique and it kind of brings up their own fears and
Right.
concerns.
Right.
Mhm.
And also a lot of times bullies come from they've been bullied themselves.
Yes,
And so,
absolutely.
right. So it's a one way to hide our own mm, feelings of
Insecurities.
unworthiness
Yeah.
or what we've been through. So I can be, whatever.
Right.
But inside, that's not how they're feeling. But when they make somebody feel that way, they feel a little bit better.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
really, do you really feel better about it? Not really.
Not really.
No, because you have to keep doing it and it still doesn't make, and it's about, again, healing
Yeah.
what you need to. And oftentimes I work with adults who were bullied when they were younger, not only by in schools or, sometimes in a family situation.
Hmm.
And they have to be able to feel good
Yeah.
and overcome that so that they feel that they deserve. And that's a big thing that these deserve to be worthy. They deserve to be loved. They deserve to do what they want to do in life. And that's important too.
Absolutely. It's interesting. I was reading, I think it was an article on, it was a kind of a bullying situation. And, there was a direct confrontation, of course, that was being observed. But also, what was being observed were the people around that did nothing or were sitting in silence. And the article was pointing out, and you are just as bad by not pointing it out. You're
Right.
being a part of the problem by your silence. And that was a real eye opener for me.
It brings up a memory. When I was teaching,
Hmm.
I was gonna go home. I had some, I had just gotten my paycheck. I had articles. I was supposed to go home and take care of my nephew. My sister was going out of town, and I was on a little train. And again, I was standing up holding stuff and whatever, and somebody came and took my purse.
Oh,
And now I'm a little crazy, but courageously so, thank goodness. But
congratulations.
nobody came to my rescue. I went after that guy and like tapped him on the shoulder, and he freaked out and dropped everything and ran off the train. But everybody was just sitting there like nothing happened. And I thought, wait, because I would, if, again, if it was reversed, I would have gotten up and done something. And I've done that before, right? So have
Yes.
you.
Yes.
Yeah, so everybody just sat there very passively and
Not wanting to get involved or afraid to get
maybe
involved.
afraid or not
Yeah.
wanting or
Yeah.
whatever. Yeah.
Not knowing what to do. And yeah,
There was,
always.
I have a lot of stories if you
Oh,
don't mind.
good. Good,
I
good.
remember going into, I was getting ready to go into a grocery store, doesn't matter which way, I think it was Wegmans, and I'm walking, and this woman is going very, very slowly. And I I said, do you need some help? And she was very grateful. She said, yes. So I took her arm and I'm walking with her. She said, and again, you never know anybody's story. You really don't. She said, I had fallen a week ago or whatever, and I'm a little nervous about that. And so, and I walked her, I helped her get her card. I said, are you okay with the card? She said, I'm fine, and thank you very much.
Oh,
And again, it wasn't to get, it was just somebody's there, they need something,
yeah.
and we have the ability to be there. What did it take? Maybe 5 minutes?
Right. Right.
And she felt good,
Yeah.
and I felt good, and
Yeah.
I went on my way.
Yeah.
And I think that we have to remember that we're not here to just be in this, whatever that
Cocoon.
is. Thank you.
Cocoon.
Thank you.
Mm.
Beautiful cocoon. And we're here, I always believe we're here to serve too,
Absolutely.
in whatever way we can. It doesn't have to be enormous or whatever, but serving your neighbors, your friends, whatever. And I think even strangers, even
Absolutely.
animals, like we've been talking about, it makes a difference. Wouldn't that world, our world, be better if that's what we were doing and not being so self-serving right? I
Or
mean,
mean.
or
You know?
mean or greedy or
Yes.
or
All the other
all the
words.
above, or just into power without again recognizing that some of the most beautiful traits are love and compassion and kindness and
Exactly. That's what in my classes, that's what in the Hollow Bone classes, we talk about that all the time. If everyone were being in their hearts, what a different world we would be in. Just imagine corporations leading from their hearts, and having meetings where everybody's in their heart, sharing a heartfelt experience, asking how can they make the world a better place and making that their focus. It would completely change things, but I hold that vision. I believe it's possible because if we don't hold the vision, maybe it won't happen. Right.
and I think that again in terms of what you're holding on to, a belief system, a thought that can make it possible.
Absolutely.
I have a chapter written long ago in the book Mastering the Art of Success.
Huh.
And it was about the heart. My chapter was the heart and soul of leadership
Ooh, wow.
and I did research with it because again, what a difference that would make if leaders, like you said, Phoenix, so wonderfully, really looked at that in terms of leading in that way. It would be so beautiful. And also when you're leading a team or
Yeah.
other people,
Yeah.
to think about, okay, I'm not just the one on top, but really what you can do to elevate them, to
Yeah.
bring them into a higher place for themselves and also to serve others. It's just
Absolutely.
so important.
It it has to be possible.
It is possible.
Yes. Yes.
Yes, we're going to make it possible.
Yes, I think, and we just started it, if not before this, right? Just with the very thoughts and actions. The mere action of holding a door for someone. It used to be a gentleman would hold the door for a lady, but hey, I've held the door for a lot of men. It doesn't matter. It's just
Right.
being people. It's just like, come on, we're all people here. We help each other.
Yeah. And that's important. And again, it's, oh, I'm too busy. How much time does it really take
Exactly. Exactly.
to help someone in need and to make a difference in somebody's life? That can change that person's perception about other people. It can shift their day. It could shift their life. That one little gesture
Yes,
has so much power.
absolutely. Letting someone go in front of you, in the grocery store, oh, you only have a few items, just go ahead. I've got a whole cartload, just things like that. Just it can be so simple.
That's true. And what I'm seeing, unfortunately, today is a lot of people not paying attention that way. They're in a hurry. They're not holding doors. They're not being courteous. And it's like, wait a minute.
Yeah. Where did we lose
A
that?
minute. What happened? Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I
And I
do.
think
Oh,
we have
sorry. Go ahead.
I think we have to get it back. And it starts with each of us.
Yes.
That's the whole thing. We think, okay, it's got to start at the top. Well, no, it's got to start with us.
Yes. Absolutely. Absolutely, it does.
Now, what were you going to say? Sorry.
Oh, no, it's okay. I think, it's so wonderful to have this shared conversation like this. But I do think that cell phones have contributed to our isolation and our lack of ability to really be aware of our circumstances around us and those people around us or beings, all life around us. And it's unfortunate because it's just a tool, but it's become, I don't know, much more than a tool, right?
Right,
People
right.
just become like they hang on to it, and that's all they do. You see people at a restaurant, and what are they doing? Two people sitting and having a meal together. They're both on their phones. It just blows my mind.
Sometimes I see parents wheeling their kids, and it's an opportunity. Look at the sun, the flower, but they're busy on their phones. And it's like, wait a minute, you're missing an opportunity, a teaching opportunity, a connection opportunity. Why are you doing that?
Right. And
And even
that,
with your dog.
yeah, exactly. Well, and just missing that opportunity, they're missing the opportunity to have miracles, right? I mean, here we are back right around.
Yes, yeah. And again, being able to be out there in the world, because if we're so busy on the phones, you're not going to be able to see if a dog or a person needs support or whatever. Or there was one day, and I think I wrote about it in one of my chapters, where I was walking and these butterflies were around a bush. And I never knew this before, but I just happened to turn that way. And the butterflies, it was almost like they were shimmering this light. And I thought, to me, that was a miracle. And I thought, if I hadn't looked,
Yeah,
if I hadn't paid attention, because it was only a moment,
yeah, yeah.
I would have missed something that was so beautiful, so miraculous.
Yes,
And I was
exactly.
glad that I had that moment. Very
Oh,
glad that I had that moment.
absolutely.
And I never knew that could happen.
Oh, it's remarkable. It's absolutely remarkable. I had something similar to that. So I grew up in Omaha, Nebraska, and I was back there visiting in March of, I think it was 2 years ago. And I was on this, I was trying to sit outside because it was a really beautiful day, but I'm hearing all this noise. And I mean, it was not car noise, but it was on a very busy intersection. But I'm looking up, and all of a sudden I see all these cranes, these herons, these blue herons, giant blue herons. They're all flying towards the same flock of trees. And then I realized they have these huge nests up in these trees. And
Wow.
someone stopped me and they said, "Oh, are you watching the herons?" I said, "I can't believe this. I've never seen so many." And they said they come here every year and see those nests. They keep adding on to their nests every
Wow.
year. And she said, I love watching them. I'm like, this is the first I've ever heard of this. This is so amazing. I mean, it was nature in action, and I felt like I was on a safari. It was,
And nature, I mean that the beauty, the miracles of nature, I wrote about that in the chapter too, is just amazing.
oh,
And
yes.
we need to celebrate that. A
Yes.
moon, stars, the sun, it's out today. I'm going to
Yes.
take a walk when we're done.
Yes. Yes. Exactly. Oh, I know.
So we
In the
we need to acknowledge
Yeah.
the blessings in our lives. We need to acknowledge what we can do to help others and the miracles that are there that we often don't pay attention to, but they're there. And if we take a moment to just acknowledge them, appreciate them, feel good about them, it can also shift our mindset and our day in a very beautiful way.
Well, and you mentioned the power of gratitude in your chapter, and I was so happy to see that because I think that's that level of appreciation you're talking about. Thank you for being here, stars and moon. And,
Oh,
the
yeah.
shamans from way back would go out every day and greet the sun. They would sing the sun up and they would sing the sun back down, and they would greet the stars and they would greet the blades of grass that would start to come up in the spring. And as everything went to bed for winter, they would do a ceremony to put it to bed. I mean, I want to get back to that.
I still do some of that.
I do too. I do too.
I have a song that I created for the birds.
Oh, how lovely. Do you want to sing it?
I'm not a great singer,
Okay.
but it's I did a video for us on joy and gratitude, okay? And so what I did with the birds was, and I'm not going to sing it, but are you
Okay.
grateful for your wings? Are you grateful you can sing? Are you grateful for the sunshine in the sky? Are you grateful for each day? Are you grateful come what may? Are you joyful and grateful you can fly? And when I'm going around singing it to them, they're not flying away. They're listening. It's like, wait a minute, this crazy lady, what's she doing?
She's talking to us. She's speaking our language. Oh, I love your song. Thank you for sharing that.
Thank
And you sang
you.
it beautifully.
Well, I didn't really sing it,
It was
but that's the feel of it.
yes, I love that.
And again, we have to be appreciative and grateful,
Yeah,
even for today. Hello, we're here. I'm not
exactly.
lying on that floor
Yeah,
like I was when I hit my head. I'm here, we're laughing, we're talking,
yes.
and the sun is out. And I'm gonna go greet the birds later and see how they're doing.
Yes, exactly. And greet the sun, the warm sun that's coming through
Oh,
after
yes.
all this snow. And we can be grateful for the snow too, because it gives us moisture and it
And
doesn't
kids
last
have fun in
long.
it. Yes, we need it, and kids have fun in it.
Yeah, exactly. Joy, the joy. Oh my gosh, this has been so wonderful. Now, there was one other thing you said in your bio that I wanted to talk about, and it's about your meditation. Let's see, journey into relaxation. Tell us about that.
Oh, that's one of one of my meditations. Okay. Um, I meditation is a beautiful way. Life is very busy, and it's just a beautiful way to firstly focus inside and relax. Our minds can be very, very busy. Our lives can be very busy. We don't take time. And being able to just focus inward and breathe and release and just be and calm ourselves is a just very special way. I have several meditations like that.
I love meditation. I use that as my tool of choice. That or shamanic journeys. They both do the same thing. Anything that
Right.
brings you deeper into yourself so that
Yeah,
you are more aware of the higher power that flows through all of us, and
right.
you are one with that.
It's
That's,
beautiful.
yeah,
Now, what's important, I do a walking
yeah.
meditation. When I was younger and I was studying with Sufis and gurus and whatever, I had an injury and I really wasn't able to sit, but they always wanted you to sit. And I thought, wait a minute, there's got to be another way. It
Mhm.
can't just be, and there are people that can't sit, right?
Right.
And I do what's called a walking meditation,
Oh, lovely.
and it's my power walk, and it's, part of it is being grateful for everything and thanking and also asking for forgiveness. It's a whole thing that I've created. But it's very, to me, it's very powerful and it's very obviously special for me. And I think it works. And it just, I do that in the mornings. It kind of centers my day.
Mhm.
So I'll have my cup of coffee and then I'll go out and walk despite the weather sometimes. Well, not, I didn't do it in all that snow.
Yeah, right. I understand that.
But it really changes the mood and just
Mhm.
opens me to embrace life and
Mhm.
what I'm going to be doing that day. So I think, again, if you can't sit,
Yeah.
you have other options, and it doesn't mean that you can't meditate.
Right. I love that. And I love to give people options on that too, because that's one of the big objections. Oh, I can't sit still or I can't empty my mind. And I just tell them, just start walking then. It doesn't matter. Just walk. Walk a meditation wheel or,
Right.
a labyrinth or just walk in the neighborhood. Doesn't matter.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's important again. So you don't have to limit yourself.
Right. Exactly.
And
Oh.
when we limit ourselves, again,
Mhm.
we're not open to miracles.
Yes, yes, you're right. And they are all around us, as you have reminded us.
Yes, they are. And even being on this show today, thank you very
Oh,
much. Your podcast is a miracle.
it really is because I mean, between our two schedules, it was kind of like, are we going to be able to make this work? And we did.
We did. And again, we didn't have a script,
Uh,
but it just feels so natural and comfortable. So thank you so much. I just appreciate being a guest on your show.
Thank you so much. It was such a pleasure to have this conversation with you. I feel like it was just a natural conversation and not like a formal interview at all. I loved how it was, and I love our connection. And so I look forward to staying in contact with you.
Yes, let's. And I love how beautiful it all went too. It's just very natural, very easy. And that's the best way.
It
One
is.
more thing, when I go out into the world, I make sure, because I feel like I'm here to bring joy or whatever, I'll say to strangers,
Yeah.
I love your hat. Your dog is adorable.
Yeah.
Whatever, and it makes people smile. And what does it take? A second, 10 seconds?
Right.
We don't have to get involved in a long conversation, but why not bring somebody a moment of joy?
Exactly. And 300 muscles, I think, are involved in a smile. So, hey, you're getting
Wow.
exercise.
You're working out. What did you do today? I worked out my jaw.
Yeah. And laughter is one of the best medicines, too, right?
Yes, yes. And don't forget to laugh at yourself.
That's right. That's exactly right. Oh, thank you so much, Dr. White. This has just been great. I so appreciate you. And I want to thank our listeners too, both
Yes,
those who are live and those on the archive. Your presence helps make more of this happen and makes it easier and better for everybody. So let's all go out and make the world a better place.
yes, yes. And thank you so much for having me, Phoenix. You're a blessing.
Oh, as are you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.